Hello and welcome to podcast known as T and D&D, where we talk about half D&D, basically at this point.
Yeah.
Which is fine. We should name it Tea and Talk. That's a good name.
I think T&D, the original name is better.
Yeah, T and D&D just has a certain ring to it. I don't know.
It just flows better and sounds nicer. Also, yes, hello, hi, my hair is a different colour.
You really wanted to address that.
I did.
Look at it, it's fabulous, guys. It's
Wow.
amazing.
It's more red than it.
Leave all your
supposed to be.
nice comments about it only in the comments, and if you don't say nice things, I will punish you. But yeah, we are here today to talk about some stuff. If you like our jib and what we do, then you can like and subscribe and stuff so that you never miss an upload. And you can also comment and join the Discord and stuff, which is all things you can do that if you just scroll down, if you click see more under that little description thing. You haven't changed descriptions in forever.
No.
Like, our description for the podcast still just says, like, we're trying a new thing.
Yeah.
Hope you guys like it.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a solid quarter of a year now, right? This way?
I don't know.
I'd say we have a good 7 or 8 episodes under our belt.
Something like that. We've done it for a while. It's just easier to copy and paste.
Let us know how many we've done in the comments. Even though we can look afterwards, it would help if you were to let us know in the comments so that we can double, triple check, you know. Background noise is fun. We're back here, so therefore we get our special guest motorbike coming in today.
Yes. It was very, very expensive to get that cameo in, guys, so your support really helps.
Yeah, thank you. That was... All of our life savings are gone, so...
Yeah.
Just bear with us. You might not get any other features for a while, unless it's the ice cream man. He just comes by anyway.
He's a regular at this point.
Yeah, he's a regular. He pops onto the podcast every now and again. It's like the one guy who's off screen, but then gets asked to talk like 5 different times, and it's just like, well, I guess I'm part of the podcast now.
Yes.
I've seen plenty of podcasts where there's like the guy at the computer that just keeps getting talked to, and they have like no mic, so there's just 20 seconds of silence in random points. If you guys want that podcast experience, let us know, and Laura will sit on the other side of the room.
Yes.
This is a podcast that is helped partly by you guys, so if you go to our Discord, which is again in the description, there's a little section you can go on.
I remembered we need my phone.
Not just yet, but there is a section on the Discord where you can submit questions that we will answer here most of the time, unless there's something that Laura cannot say a single word about.
Yes.
Because then this will just be the Jake podcast, and that isn't fair. Because Laura, despite being a mega nerd just like me, only plays D&D once a week and doesn't really think about it as much outside of D&D as much as others will.
Yeah.
Like me, for instance.
I think about it the least in our group.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a very fair assumption.
I mean, everyone else plays in more than one game a week.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else knows what stuff does.
Mm-hmm.
Most stuff. Rob definitely does extra research because he sometimes puts in our private chat.
There's every couple of
questions.
days we just get a random question related to a broken build he's working on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's me. I'm just like, this would be cool.
I've been watching Loki. That's my
Yes.
character now.
Yes.
And that's probably the best way to do it.
I
in my
mean,
opinion.
because I've been watching the Vampire Diaries, I kind of want to make a vampire now, so I'm like...
Yeah, you can be a vampire if you want. It's not too late to change your
Yeah.
character idea.
Maybe.
You've got a week.
Yes.
Yeah,
maybe.
there's the one of the newer books that came out gives you like it's called a Dampier, which is like a vampire
That's
but
what-
not OP.
That's what James was playing.
James was playing a goblin Dampier. And when you choose it, you don't have to look human. You can be any race. So James picked goblin for that, for instance. So if you wanted to do that, oh yeah.
Yes, because with this new character, I thought about it ages and ages ago.
You haven't played it since you've thought of it, which was a solid 2 or 3 months ago.
Which was a very bad decision. Because now I've forgotten near enough everything to do with this
You
character.
could remember it, but I imagine it's just like... You haven't played it, and you thought of it months ago, and it's just kind of left your...
Yeah, and now it's
Your
not
brain.
retained in my memory, so...
Uh-huh.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
We'll go on to our first little... I'm trying to make some more solid segmented stuff. So the first one is we talk about what happened in D&D the last week, which we played.
Yes. We did. And we fought an evil woman
You did?
who was not very nice and had spell protecting her so she couldn't be affected by anything, which peeved me off.
9th level spell, invulnerability, immunity to all damage.
Yeah, that peeved me off.
Even magic weapons just don't work.
Even my rats didn't do anything.
Your rats will be very useful in the way that I've done this final fight. But yeah, we basically have the final fight in about a few hours.
Yes, because I was busy yesterday, so we're currently filming on Sunday.
Which is where we normally play. So...
We haven't added a section which is which mugs have we got today. That should be a segment, because...
It'll get really old after 3 episodes,
Yeah.
because we'll start using the same ones. But we flashed this one last time, we can flash it again. The
just hold it
Dungeons and
no, hold it near your
Dragons.
face, because that's where it's autofocused. Yeah. And then I have this one.
New thumbnail. Nice. But yeah, played on Sunday. We'll talk about Sunday first, and then we'll talk about my stuff that you don't care about.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me about it, and then it's just like, cool, that sounds fun, and then it's immediately left my brain.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sunday. You remember the basic gist of it, because there was a final fight that happened.
Yes. Usually when there's fighting and I see things and it's not just a blank screen, I remember. Oh, sorry. But basically this woman who we were fighting that owns the whole place, I think you called it a domain of dread?
It's called ECAS.
She ended up recruiting the Rakshasa evil man.
Yeah, that you could have with money, but she
Yeah.
had way more than you.
I was a good person, I'm trying not to swear, a bad behatch, and he tried to charm me, but I was like, absolutely not, and then threw it back at him. But you said he couldn't be charmed, but then we had to check it, but then it didn't count as a spell.
He did get charmed. Yeah, the way that it worked was, because Rakshasas are normally immune to spells, but you had a feature that basically yeeted a charm back at someone, and I thought it worked like you cast the same spell back at them, but in fact you just charm them, so it's your friend now, but it would have still attacked everyone else, basically.
Yeah. One of the big boys died.
Yeah, Nel Branche, the Horn Devil.
Yeah.
The one that Ash was controlling that got swarmed by 4 frickin' Jiangshi.
Yeah. Me and Ryan pretty much hid the majority of it.
Smart, because she had lightning bolts and you were in a hallway.
Yeah. My rats came to my saviour. That's not
4
the right
swarms
word.
of rats arrived in the final
Yes.
fight to try and... They did nothing. Absolutely nothing, but they will be more useful in the next one.
I wall of forced the woman in with the rats and they still did nothing.
Because she was immune to all of their damage.
Yeah.
But then she mentioned all out anyway.
That was so annoying because I was like, God damn it.
She can only do that once a day. If you trap her in another one, she is screwed.
I don't think I've got enough points on my...
You should do. You only wall of forced, and that's it. From the staff. And maybe globe of invulnerability.
Yeah, I did a couple of things on there, but they were big charge.
Yeah, they were massive
ones.
5th and 6th level spells.
Yes.
But hey, you're good. You're a warlock and you have a rod of the pack keeper and a staff of power. You're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I use
that
them as
happened.
walking sticks.
Final fight. There was some other stuff that happened as well. Eratus did a bad thing.
Sorry, let me finish my tea for a hot second. Basically, because I remember this, because I thought, what the heck? So, Ryan's character, Fry, decided to stay in this room because there was another wall of force, which only an eyeball or something could sort out. I don't know what was up there.
There was a wall of force puzzle that could be solved. With
Anyway.
Stuff. So he was just watching that.
So, Ryan's character was watching the wall. So, everyone else decided to go up the little corridor way that we didn't go before, and Ash brought Eratus into this room, which was freaky as So I stayed away. That's gonna have to be bleeped. Oops, sorry, me in the future.
There were a bunch of like carvings of eyes on the wall, which proven in the last room with a bunch of eyes, they move.
Yeah, which I immediately stayed away from. So I was just in.
Yeah,
still
Robin,
in the
you
hall.
just didn't go in the room like smart people.
Yeah, and then Ash. What?
Ash went in. There was a large coffin in the center that was being guarded by said eyes. So Ash was like, "Ooh, I'll push it open." And I'm like,
and then got blasted by the eyeballs.
took like 15 d10 psychic damage.
Yeah, and
Wait.
then she decided to make Erratus take the, what was it, gems from
Yeah,
the girl's eyes?
This it was this halfling that was in like blue robes or something that was kept in this lavish room or something that didn't have eyes and instead had like crystal ones instead.
I was like, Ash, you're gonna kill Erratus. Turns out he just got blinded.
Which is
I was like,
honestly
Jesus.
worse.
Yeah.
Because then Ash doesn't get a new character.
Yeah, and she has to deal with Erratus being blind,
We have a blind barbarian. Yeah.
which is kind of bad.
And it's not just like, oh, I'm suddenly blind. His eyes exploded.
Yeah.
So, problem.
I was like, Ash, why? Why
If you-
make Erratus take the things
If you
that
take
just...
30 d10 psychic damage, that's what's going to happen. There was a theme of like watching and eyes there because
if that was me and I just took that buttload of damage, I would have been like, no, bye, and left.
there was a chance you wouldn't have even survived the first bit.
Yeah.
Like Erratus was fine after the first one because
I meant if I
75
was in-
average damage.
I meant if I was in Ash's situation, I would
Yeah,
have been like,
after the
absolutely
first
not.
one. That's fair. But yeah, we have a permanently blinded barbarian. Ash did pick the best subclass for that, strangely though, because she had Beast Sense, where
Yes.
she can see through an animal.
Yes, and
But that's like a ritual spell. And
I lent her a rat.
for your guys' plan to get in, which involved invisibility, the rat was an inconvenience.
Yeah.
So Erratus couldn't see, and
Yeah.
still can't. And there's no real way to solve that because, like, a greater restoration isn't going to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Erratus's actual eyes are missing.
yeah.
Like,
Kablooey.
Patch's problem was he still had his eyes. They were just greyed out and, like,
Yeah.
acided. So, like, with a big quest and a lot of trial and error, you finally got it back after it being restored by a very powerful Medusa. That's what you needed to do to solve yours, and you had eyes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, there was no real way around it. Ash is a bit screwed for the next fight. She's going to have disadvantage on everything and is going to be quite handicapped. So, I'm thinking that I'm going to let her also control the big lion.
I
Just
thought
to...
the lion wasn't in this.
Technically
Oh.
is. Technically. Yeah, the lion left to go and, like,
Yeah.
do stuff. So, I'm thinking that Ash plays out what the lion's doing.
Oh, I see.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the general gist of the final fight was the villain managed to escape with a dimension door and summoned a bunch of their evil minions and stuff to siege her palace from the outside. It's the complete opposite of what I thought was going to happen about 4 sessions in. I thought you guys were going to siege the palace, but no, you're
Yeah.
defending the palace
Yeah.
from being sieged. And they have a bunch of her very powerful CR9 minions going right for you. That are kind of like, so there's a balcony. So they're all just kind of floating up there because they can float. Because they're the classic like floaty rigor mortis zombies where they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're coming up, and she's at the back just watching them go. But I'm thinking of doing that. Maybe, I don't know. It might be too much processing power because the map I have is massive.
Ah.
But yeah, that fight's gonna be fun, I think, and also very scary.
Yes.
Now you do have mirror shield.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's your most powerful asset, showing them your ass. hey, ghosties.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah.
These minions have an averseness to their own reflection. So that's how you're gonna help a little bit. But yeah, cool. That's what's happening Sunday. Today, yeah, of course. Because we're here, I think it's Saturday. My brain is telling me it's Saturday.
That's what mine's been telling me.
But yeah, that's what's going to happen, and then we're going to move on to Eberron. We'll do a question, and then we'll talk about something else, some more games and stuff. So, which one do you think we should answer? Let's go chronologically.
We have 2, I think. you already did that one, so...
Okay. Do you want to read that to me for once?
Okay, yes, because I don't know
Quiz
how
me.
I could answer this. Jono says, do you think PvP is detrimental for a D&D game, and how could it be used?
Why, thank you, Jono, of our Discord server, which you can join in the description. That felt like such an unnecessary shill.
Yes.
PvP in games. I've done it before. You've been a part of it, I think.
Yeah, but there've only ever been one-shots.
No, it's been like healthy PvP, ones that have been set up to kind of happen. So the Drow Mansion one-shot.
Yeah, which was a one-shot.
And I think as long as you go into a game with the pretense of there might be in a party fighting, that's fine. I set it up that way completely. Everyone had their own personal objectives that could flick with each other. One was just trying to escape with an important artifact that wasn't to be stolen. You were a woman on the inside for the enemy. And then there were like two people who were genuinely like there for the job, and there was one who had their like boyfriend as part of the family that you guys were going to kill, and his goal was to basically rescue him and get out. So all that happened, and it caused a massive cluster heck of just chaos, and it was fun as hell because we went into the pretense of about half of the party knowing that they were going to betray each other.
Yeah.
You walked in knowing you were going to Eldritch Blast your friends the moment you saw the opportunity.
Yeah.
Ryan went in there knowing the moment that he saw the person with the bow, he was going to one-shot her, take the bow and run. And he managed to do that with a crit purple worm poison, because assassin. But yeah, that was a hell of a lot of fun. However, if you are PvPing as a party, and your DM hasn't really set it up that way, or it makes sense for your character, I would say don't really try and actively do it.
Yeah.
If you're thinking in your head, my character would try to enact violence on the other and engage in combat with them, then think, why are you in the D&D party with a bunch of fellow adventurers?
The only thing that I would see as being like good for that is if you want to bring in a different character, and this character that you think is an absolute a-hole, and you're like, well, I have a new character idea and I don't want to use this character, but I don't want him to get killed off, and then you could like fight with the party. Have it talk to the DM first, of course, but then fight with the party on this stuff, and then, well, that character could get killed, or they could just run away or whatever. That's the only thing I would say.
I think
in a campaign,
if you feel like it would be a cool story moment, and everyone at the table is okay with it, not just you or the DM, literally everyone there, then go for it. So, for example, there's some things that are a bit harder to pull off if not everyone's on board with it, and PvP is definitely one of them. So for an example of that, I made an evil character once, and I literally said to everyone, sometimes my evilness might be a thing that comes up. Is everyone okay with that? And they were like, yeah, dude, that's fine. And then they learned to expect that I was going to occasionally do some very morally bad things directly. Same with PvP. If you feel as though like you're in a session and your character's getting really worked up with another, or perhaps they want to do a challenge of honor or something, literally before you get into the whole roleplay jazz of that or whatever, say to the entire table, are you guys okay with me maybe initiating PvP here? If not, then I'll try and think of a way that my character might cool off. Because if you start attacking someone else and they're like, this is not what I came to do D&D for, what is happening? Why? Yeah. Like in a party conflict's great, but if it gets to that point and like some player just instantly goes, I'm gonna try and stab him, it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some advice on that. You can do it, but make sure everyone's chill with it, basically. So like your character that you might have used but probably won't now, I imagine.
I have no idea.
From what I remember you telling me about him, he would be okay with fighting the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
he's not really there for them at all.
Yeah, no.
He's just doing his own thing. So, like, if you felt at some point it was like, they have this very powerful item that they're not using that could help me get what I want, I'm going to try and assassinate one in the night, but I'm going to ask first if that's okay.
I feel like my characters would steal it, not attack. That's just because that's just how I play.
Yeah, that's fair. Direct confrontation.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I'm like, absolutely not, no thank you.
I'm the opposite, or at least some of the characters that I've made. One of them is extremely non-confrontational, but the other two are. Like, I had a fight, like, Orson or something. Rob's character just had a huge problem with him. And he was like, literally, like, 2 sessions in, was like, during a rest or something, was like, I'm gonna go up to him and I'm gonna ask what his freaking deal is. And then it worked out great and we're friends now.
Fair.
So yeah, that's the thing on PvP. Speaking of that character, he's probably dead now. Told you about that.
Yes.
Because we ended last session in that precarious situation. I probably mentioned it in a previous podcast, but me and Ryan have basically come up with a new set of characters that will be cool. Looking forward to using those, because I haven't played a Warlock in forever, and they seem very fun. And you know from experience that they are.
Yes, I am a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan too. They're very customizable. You can make them into anything. Like, your Warlock has been more of a druid than a Warlock, and it's great.
Yeah.
And that's how you can do it, and it's great. But yeah, we're going to be doing Curse of Strahd in 2 days, and probably I'm going to die. But that's cool, because I'm ready for it. I also played on Thursday, and it was an absolute hell nightmare, because one of our players just did not stop splitting up from us, and just kept walking into places alone without telling anyone. So, you know, we all got a bit mad at him. But yeah, that happened, and it was certainly something. And then one of the other players was an absolute mad lad. Everything had just gone to hell, and we'd had to split up the party hard so that we could save him.
I'm really bothered because my ears are blue, and I want to tuck my hair behind my ears, but
Just got to do the podcast like this at all times.
just have a hair bubble like this. There.
Perfect.
Just hold my.
Shall I carry on now?
You can carry on now.
But yeah, one of the players after that, we'd lost one of the 2 horses that we had, and my character is a massive animal man and thinks that they're just important as people, so I was like, where? And then...
That's the one you based off of me.
Kinda.
Yeah, you said that last time.
And then one of the other players was like, I'm going back into the town. I'm the squishy wizard. I'm going to get back that horse, and I'm going to do this. And he freaking did it, somehow. Absolute mad lad. Saved both of the horses. And I'm very proud of him. But yeah, that happened. It was a very badass scene as well. He was being chased by like 30 zombie people. And he was Gandalf in it all the way. Because he's the proper Gandalf looking type. Big hat. White beard. But he's just a bit delusional. he he just has like very many problems. Like, he cannot hear anything. He forgets everything. And then occasionally, like, we'll just be walking around and he'll just tell us some old secrets of 700 years ago. And I'll be like, what? And he's like, huh?
That's pretty funny.
He's so good at playing a delusional old man, and it's strange. Welcome to our guest star, Mumu. If you guys want images of Mumu, let us know in the Discord, which you can join in the description. You can just see her butt right now, or her tail.
Yes, he's just here, chilling.
But we have Le Chat here, otherwise known as cat. But I said that in French because I'm French.
Sure.
I look like I could be.
I mean, I don't know what constitutes a French
I don't know.
looking person.
I just feel like if French was coming out of my mouth, it wouldn't be too disorienting.
I don't know.
Now, Korean, however, that's a different story. Yep.
Alright, Mumu?
Bless her. Shall we answer another
Yes.
fan
Okay,
question
so,
while we're here?
James says, how much do you write for a session, and how much should, in all capital letters, you write for a session? I've never written anything down for a campaign much before, but since I'm starting my homebrew campaign soon, I've been writing non-stop about all of the mechanics of the world, along with random encounters and quest hooks. Essentially, where is a good place to stop before I run myself into the ground?
A good place to stop is whenever you feel like you have enough. I feel like as long as you feel like you know what's going on, then you're fine. If you have a paragraph that tells you about the town and you feel confident that you'd be able to run something out of that, go for it. Then again, if you also feel like you have that paragraph and you're like, this is barely enough for me to even like say a single word about it, then make more if you want.
I think for me, I panic. I have to have every scenario planned in my head, or written down even, because if something goes wrong, because I can't improv for anything, I have to have everything planned out and made sure that things won't go wrong in my head, and have intensive descriptions of places.
Yeah. So if that's how you want to do that, then that's definitely a way you can do it. Like, you can't plan too much, I don't think, and you can't plan too little.
I guess it just depends who you are, and based on your style.
Like, I've definitely tried to overplan before, and it never works out for me. Like, I found that honestly, more minimal for me personally is best, because I have been trained in improv since I was 7 or 8. And I feel very comfortable in situations where I have to come up with everything on the fly. One thing that I'm somewhat bad at is names. Like I've said to you guys a couple times when you've done the whole, I know that Jake hasn't planned this guy, what's his name? And I'll literally go, I don't know. Next.
Or you'll just make a name that starts with a J.
Yeah. Jeremiah. I've only really done that like twice, I think.
Yeah.
What's another random name that I made up?
I feel like you probably
really
said
good?
Jerome at some point.
Maybe. But yeah, I've made up quite a few random names and stuff like that, and I feel like I've tried all the different ways of planning. I've tried not doing it at all.
I remembered one.
Yeah?
Nuila, because you went Nuila.
Nuila.
Yeah, the mind flayer. Because you said you just went Nuila, and then went with it.
I made a random gargly sound.
Yeah.
And that was his name translated.
Yeah.
That's actually, yeah. I did totally do that. If I feel like there's an NPC that I feel is integral to some level of the story, or I feel like the party would get along with or something, I'll name them. Some that I've like pre-written that you guys have got along with were there was Hlam, obviously.
Yes.
Which I hadn't written, but I made my own as some very wise but also slightly cranky and like constantly annoyed old man.
Yeah.
And there's definitely ways that you can plan to make a likable character and stuff like that and whatever. And again, I've done immensely preparing everything that I can think of, and when I did that personally, I never felt like I was finished. I never felt like I could sit back down and just like be fine. Like it was in the Waterdeep when you guys had cameras off.
You can carry on talking.
Put blank image of thumbnail on or something.
No, I keep putting camera has gone to sleep.
Camera has gone to sleep. Should make a little art of the camera just going snooze. We'll ask Chris to do it. But yeah, it was for when you guys had left Waterdeep. I planned so much. Yeah, I had basically all of the dwarf holds figured out before you guys had even gone to the first place, and you guys went to like 5 different places before you eventually went down there. I had all of that just ready right there and then, and after I'd done that, I had to keep going back and doing more, because I personally felt like if I wanted all that written down, there was always going to be something else that I'd forgotten that would give extra nuances and stuff. So nowadays I've gone the opposite. I don't write anything.
I suppose you can also be, because when you write stories and stuff, there's like hard world building and soft world building.
You watched that video too, didn't you?
Yeah. And
that's what made me want to watch Spirited Away again.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I think it comes down to who you are as a person.
I do much better when I don't have much written down at all.
Yeah.
As long as I know what trajectory the story's going on and some cool things that I might want to put in front of you guys, I'm absolutely fine. So Ikath, I did all of it, which isn't much, before session 1, and then never touched it again. I made a couple small dungeons, and I made the palace, and I made some NPCs that you could meet, and a few locations, and that's it. That's all I did. And I felt like that was enough, and I'd improvise more locations as we went along. Random houses, little streets and stuff like that. Like a important district, which is the only one that isn't going to try and kill you guys if you're seen. That was just randomly a thing. It was just the centerpiece for a fight that turned into kind of a reliable hub for you all. And I didn't plan that. And a lot of Ikath I just kind of made up, and it's... I mean, what do you think of it?
I like it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it works for me because I honestly find I can create better pictures and in people's minds and in my own mind if I'm making it up right on the spot. Because if I have this illustrious detailed description of a room beforehand, I'll kind of forget some of the stuff about it. But if I literally have... So both of the dungeons, the small dungeons that you'd been to in Ikath, the Topaz Halls, which was that monk place that Aratus lost his eyes, and then the tavern with the Rakshasa in it, I had no like Word document or like little page that I could open up that had all of the planning for it. On the map, where you guys couldn't see, I had sentences just written around the around the map in just the gaps that you couldn't see into. That's how I did it. And I made it up more from there. So when you walked into his room or something, I just wrote lavish audience room with big throne at the end. That's all I wrote. And then I did a half-a-minute description from that I think, made it feel rich. And then other people will do perfectly fine doing a billion things. So directly more to James, because I know what he's kind of going for. He's going for like an open world sort of thing for his first thing, which I wouldn't recommend personally.
Yeah.
But if he wants to do it, that's him. He's been DMing for a while, so I trust him to do some good stuff with it. But I think the key with open world is, for me at least, it's always been to have vague ideas in your head and then flesh them out more when it seems like your party wants to go there, or right as they're there. I've been perfectly upfront with you guys before of like, you guys have gone to a place that I didn't expect or make a map for, so imagine it's there. So like with the Yuan-Ti city, I had a few key locations planned. I don't think you guys went to any of them. And that's perfectly fine. Because instead you went to like some like prison block that I hadn't planned until then, and then I made something afterwards out of it.
Yeah.
That whole one session dungeon that started with you guys on opposite ends and meeting in the middle. And that all just came from a necessity to consider a split party going into a dungeon. And I wouldn't have really built it like that if I knew that that's what was going to happen. But if you're doing some open world stuff, maybe have like a buttload of 2-sentence locations. I don't know, that sounds cool. If you'd like, maybe if you want a town, maybe a paragraph or two of like, here is the mayor, and this is what they want to do. Second paragraph, this place has some problems. There are some bandits that have been walking into the saloon and shooting up the place. And also, there is a nearby wolf problem where they're in a den. And then when your party like goes in there, you're like, right, what do I know about this place? There's wolves. I'm going to put a bounty out for the wolves. 50 gold. And then the party are like, we want to do that. And it's like, okay, they're going to be, I don't know, a mile out in a hole or something. And from there, you've got an adventure. Your party won't care if you're making it up. You guys don't. You never do. In fact, some of the best stuff has come from me just, making my way randomly through it. Like, don't get me wrong, there's been some great pre-planned moments, like the arrival of the massive dragon. I very much pre-planned that. That was like a major cutscene, if you will.
Yeah.
And that was a great moment, but just the same as the moment where you guys had decided to do a tavern opening. And I'm just like, NPCs. So yeah, you can have fun if you do either. And that's my opinion on that, I think. I talked for a while about that.
Yeah. We don't have any more questions.
Shame on you guys. If you want to add more questions, this is the 4th time I've said it now. Join the Discord.
I'm going to check to see if we have any on YouTube, but I don't think we do.
I don't think we do, to my memory. But yeah.
We do not.
Alright. What is your favourite part about D&D?
Uh,
Just all of it, the whole aspect.
well, now that we're online, I don't have to do any maths.
Your favourite part of D&D is not doing maths.
Yes.
That's an interesting
I
take.
don't like maths. And I'm sorry to everybody that likes rolling dice and doing maths. That is just not for me.
I can do that really fast, personally.
Yeah, no, it would take me ages to figure it out. When we played in the game store, I was just there for like 5 minutes. I'm like,
So your favourite thing about playing this amazing role-playing game is the fact that you don't have to add things.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Ash, Rob, Ryan and James, you heard her. It's not because we're friends. It's because she doesn't have to do maths. I personally say that my favourite thing about D&D is the social aspect of creating a story with your friends.
Oh dear. I mean,
I'm right and you're wrong.
on a more real note, I don't like doing the maths.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like the fantasy aspect, because I've always liked fantasy stuff. Hello, Moo. She's just staring at me.
She's like, that was a really bad answer to that question.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the fantasy aspect and the fact that, I don't know, I kind of feel like I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I could be in a book.
I imagine that's probably why Waterdeep was your favourite then, because it was
Yeah.
very setting heavy.
Yeah.
Like you felt like you were there.
That was why I have to say, that was quite immersive. I liked that one.
Well, Eberron, I think I'm going for a similar vibe with. It's going to feel a lot more fantasy-y and, you know, like I've tried some more realistic type stuff and I find it doesn't work as well, personally. Like,
Yeah, I'm a fan of the fantasy stuff.
Like, modern role-playing games don't add as much appeal as the whole classic thing. Like, even if, so I've done a system called Monster Hearts, which is you're a bunch of teenagers in the modern world, and each of you are your own, like, messed up thing. You can be a vampire, you can be a wolf, a werewolf even, you can be a banshee, you could be a hive mind, or whatever. Any of those things, and you're in the modern world just trying to figure out puberty. And
See,
it was...
that for me...
I liked the system, I liked the way that it worked. It was very upfront and very simple for people to understand. So, for example, if you were a witch, if you take someone's hair, now you can cast a spell on them. Easy.
Yeah, but for me, it's the fantasy thing that I like. Give me medieval vibes. I said that wrong.
Medieval.
Yeah, medieval
Mandible
vibes.
vibes. The little things on insect heads. Give me those vibes and we're good.
Yeah.
Eberron isn't as much medieval, however there are definitely plenty of medieval aspects around.
Yeah, but we said steampunk, and that also sounds
I didn't.
cool to
I
me.
never said
steampunk, and then I decided
Everyone says
I
everyone's
like this.
steampunk. It's not,
But
I'm
not
letting
taking,
you
I'm not taking
picture
that.
it as that so that you vibe with it more,
Yeah.
even though it really isn't.
Yeah. No trains in my fantasy thing unless
there's-
it's steampunk.
There's trains.
Yes.
They're
That's
just
why
powered
I'm,
up from elementals,
That's
not
why
steam.
I'm saying it's steampunk.
It's called the lightning rail. Instead of like smoke that comes out or something, it's like discharges lightning and stuff. Just scatters all around it.
Art is subjective, Jake. Let me view it as steampunk.
So I'll describe the lightning rail and the train and how it sparks around, and then there are no funnels of which smoke can escape, and you'll just be thinking, totally has cogs on the outside. And it's got a top hat and a monocle, and it's Thomas
Yes.
the Tank Engine.
Not thinking it's Thomas the Tank Engine.
That'd be very funny.
Also,
though.
Thomas the Tank Engine does not have a monocle, actually.
There are plenty of elements that would be conducive of steampunk. So, for example, there's a rare magic item called ventilating lungs, which are like metal lungs that basically make you breathe like Darth Vader. And they basically just let you breathe if you can't. My character had one in like an Eberron 2-shot or something. And it also lets you cast Gust of Wind once a day, so that you can just whenever you want. And that's fun. But yeah, you like the fantasy aspect. Mine's probably I get to play characters. Like I'm an actor very much, and I normally play parts that have been written hundreds of years ago, or tens of years ago, or by the person that's putting on the show.
And you get typecast.
Oh yeah, I get typecast hard. The last year, I've been a straight white man. A straight white man. And granted, that's kind of what I am. Kind of. But yeah, I just get stuck with roles because I'm a moderately, like if I cut my hair, a moderately attractive looking, somewhat athletic looking, sometimes kind of average height white man. So I'm stuck. However, in D&D, I'm a green-skinned emo tiefling.
Yeah. It's much more fun when you can choose what you want to be.
And granted, I can play those white men better than anything else, because that's me. But like, I get to be other people, and it's more fun, because the main thing that appeals to me is that I get to make it myself. Because again, characters that I normally play are made for me, or not even for me, just made for someone to fill in, and therefore I fill in. And granted, I do like the freedom that comes with it. Like, so for Ferdinand, I made him, so my character in Tempest, who was, you know, guy falls in love with girl, that one of the
He's
many
talking
times
about
I've
his
done that.
acting, by the way.
That's what I'm talking about, yes.
Make that more clear, because I did not grasp what we were talking about. I thought that was a D&D character.
Anyone here who knows Shakespeare knows Tempest. There's probably one person watching that does, and it's my mate Ty, who studied it or something. But yeah, I kind of made it my own in a way, but I had to say all the lines exactly as they were written, and I had to have the same background as was written for me and stuff like that. Whereas with D&D, I can be whoever I want, and I can't think of a universe where I'll ever get to play some of the characters that I've done. I don't think I'd ever be able to play a monk that is a woman.
Unless you went into a very specific panto.
Very specific panto, yes. Where I'm
there
the
was
female lead, I guess.
Where there's a monk that's a woman.
I can't think of one of those.
I don't know.
The next dame in the next panto that comes out is just a karate master. And I'm like, yes, my dreams.
This is for me.
This is my part. I would be the dame. I would. Being the dame would be awesome. I just need to be able to, like, I don't know. I need a couple more years for my voice to get more deep. And then I can do it. My voice is deep already, but it should be deeper.
I don't think it's going to get much deeper.
It probably will. From when you've known me and now, it's got deeper. Right? It has.
A little bit, and you're putting it on now.
I'm really not.
I mean, you
my
are.
my throat had, like, saliva in it. Watch the footage back, I even swallowed and everything.
Well...
It wasn't deliberate.
Yeah.
Audience knows. I'm not doing it deliberately. No, there's none in there. Big sad. I ran out of tea.
Yeah.
We'll pause the podcast and get more.
No.
But yeah, I get to make my own characters, and that's the coolest part. You made some pretty cool characters as well, I think. But your characters tend to just kind of be able to be put anywhere. I've noticed. Like, Patch could have been anywhere. Patch could be a modern day character. Just maybe.
I suppose so. Maybe just not a tabaxi.
Well, you know, you never know. They might be living under our noses.
The cat's over there, for reference.
Can you become a tabaxi? Are you a druid? It turns out every single animal we have ever known is a druid.
Yeah.
That's a druid right there. Who knows? Maybe we're all living in D&D.
Unlikely.
And we're all magic, and we just don't know the very, very specific hand motions to cast Fireball. Anyone who does learn that is going to be a superstar. I want to learn how to cast
and
Fireball.
immediately be put in prison, because if they casted Fireball, they would be
either that or
dangerous.
promptly signed on by the government to be like a...
Maybe.
I don't know, they might get like...
I imagine they would probably just be like, what the hell,
they
this
get
person
Captain
is
America.
too powerful.
Yeah. Either Captain America or Red Skull.
Probably more red schooled.
Likely to be more red schooled, because when people in this world don't understand something, they shoot it with guns.
That is pretty true.
That do be how modern day works. I think it's safe to say that we can end it off here. We've talked about a lot for today.
Yes.
Thank you guys for watching T&D&D. I feel like...
With tea.
And D&D. Actually, ironically, we don't play D&D on this podcast.
No.
We probably should at some point, just randomly. Do like a 2.5 hour episode of us just...
Yeah, just me and you, just be like, yeah, sure, let's just play D&D, the two of us.
Hey, there's no reason why you can't.
I mean, maybe.
Part of the fun, though, is that there's more than one person, for us at least.
Yeah.
Like, us in a group. Like, normally I cancel if there's, like, 2 gone.
Yeah.
Or even 1 gone sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked, make sure to like and like. And join the like in the like. And like down below if you like the like. Subscribe as well.
Yeah.
And if you want to submit any questions that we may answer, because we only had 2 this time, they were chunky ones. But yeah, if you want to submit more, either comment them or you can join the Discord and tell us over there. There's a channel for that. Ideas for videos and podcast, if that's what it's called, or is
It's
it just
actually
videos?
called Ideas for Videos.
Well, I have a comprehensive guide on there on all of the channels, so read that, and then I don't know. I put a lot of effort into that thing.
Do you have a... What?
Yeah, there's a server info little channel that I put in there. Of just I told you I was doing it.
Did you?
Yeah, it's server info right under welcome. It's got all of the things that you need. Right there. I tagged you in it as well. I'm surprised you didn't know it existed.
Yeah, no.
Oh, bless you. But yeah, if you need that as well, that's in there. But yeah, it supports our community and helps us grow and stuff if you do all the stuff. So thank you for being awesome. And also buy YouTube Premium and then watch us a bunch.
That's a stretch.
So that then you don't get ads. It's worth it. I have YouTube Premium and I don't need to watch ads. So it's absolutely worth it. The amount of time I spend on there. If I had my phone right now, I'd show you the statistics. I probably have about 1,000 hours viewed in the last month and a half.
Fairs.
Which I don't know if is possible, but probably is, knowing me. See ya!
Bye-bye.